Good day, everyone. Welcome to Maths with Gaston. I am Gaston Mapala. Today, let's have a look at grade 11 analytical geometry lesson, all the critical information that you need to know when it comes to analytical geometry. So, today, please pay attention. Make sure that you pause if you don't understand on this video. Make sure that you leave the comment so that we will be able to assist you. But we're only going to cover only the things that you need, the critical lesson. Forget about the long notes. What? This is mathematics. We're not doing essays. We're just gonna focus on the critical things, and then from there, we're gonna focus on the examples on how to deal with each examples as they come, and we'll also touch on some past questions and make sure that what we discussed is realistic and it will assist you to achieve those distinctions that you want. Okay, so critical thing number one that you need to know, first thing first, you must know the distance between 2 points. This is the distance between 2 points, which is given by d. It's equals to square root of. Analytical geometry is a very nice topic. You should be able to maximize the marks that you get on this topic. Okay, y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, this is how you would deal with the distance formula. It's just the distance between 2 points. Let's say you're given a point A here, it has got x1, y1, and then you're given point B here, it has got x2 and then y2. Okay, great. And that's how you would deal with this one and how you would substitute them. Please make sure that you subscribe so that we can show you the examples on how to use this formula. Then the next thing you need to know is the midpoint. This is the middlemost point between the 2 points. It's given by a symbol m, and then it's given by x2 plus x1 all over 2, and therefore y2 plus y1 all over 2. Great stuff. Okay, number 3. Okay, the other thing before we go to number 3, the other thing that they might ask you here on the midpoint formula, they might give you the midpoint and ask you to find the coordinates of the other term. Let's say, for an example, here's a line here. You're given a line. This is point B, this is point A, and then M, it's here, it's a midpoint. Okay, so instead they give you the coordinates here, midpoint, y midpoint, and then also they give you x1, y1, but these ones here at B, they are unknown. Okay, therefore what you would do, you would use the midpoint formula to find that. You would say x midpoint, it should be equals to x2 plus x1 all over 2. Then you find the coordinates, and then you will be given ym is equals to y2 plus y1. I've seen a lot of textbook, they're calling this one as a midpoint in reverse. How to use a midpoint in reverse. Okay, we'll deal with that when we get to examples. And then critical thing number 3, it's the gradient. Very, very important, this one, the gradient. Everything that you need to know when it comes to a gradient. You need to know how to apply the formula, the gradient between 2 points, which is A and B in this case. For example, you're going to have y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Okay. Number B, when it comes to midpoint, what you need to know on the midpoint as well, you need to know what do we mean when we say the gradients are parallel. When the gradients are parallel, therefore, it means you've got two lines, for an example, that are parallel. This is line number 1, line number 2. Okay, these two lines here, what you have, you're gonna have the gradient of line number 1 should be equal to the gradient of line number 2 if they are parallel. Basically, that's what it means. Okay, all right. And then what you have what is known as collinear points. If you are given collinear points, this should mean that the gradient of straight line number 1 should be equal to the gradient of straight line number 2, and also equal to the gradient of straight line number 3. Okay, great stuff. Okay, so now number D under gradient, if they say the gradients, they are perpendicular. Perpendicular, this simply means if you are given two lines, visually they would look like this. You've got line number 1 there. Here, this is line number 2. If you've got these two lines, this means that the product of these two lines, or the product of the gradient of the two lines rather, should give us -1. Okay, the product of the two lines, if they are perpendicular, they should give us 1. And then lastly, E under gradient should say M is equal to tan theta. This refers to the angle of inclination. Inclination. This is the angle of inclination. What does this mean? This is the angle that the line forms with an x-axis. So therefore, let's say that this is the line here. This is your x-axis. That's the y-axis there. Then there's a line here somewhere. There's a line there. This angle here is the angle of inclination. That's what they're referring to. That is the angle of inclination, is the angle that the straight line forms with the x-axis. Okay, all right, now let's come to concept number 4 that we need to know, critical things that we need to know in analytical. What we have here, we have an equation of a straight line. We need to know the equation of a straight line. Okay, there's two ways to calculate the equation of a straight line. Firstly, you can use y is equals to m, which is the gradient, x plus c, which is the constant, or rather you can use y minus y1 is equals to gradient x minus x1. Okay, this is one of my favorite formula to use because you just have to substitute the point there, and then it will give you the equation of a straight line. Then you don't have to struggle to find c. But please guys, please stay tuned on this channel. We are going to post example right here. We're just trying to familiarize you with the concept that you need to know on analytical geometry and the critical things that you need to pay attention to. After this, then we're gonna follow up with more examples to assist you to make sure that this concept sink in. So you might want to stay tuned and make sure that you subscribe, switch on that notification bell so that you get notified every time we upload a new video. All right, okay, so now we got that equation of a straight line. Therefore, last thing, this is not the last thing, but number 5, we need to know the properties of the following. Please know the properties of the following. I'm not going to discuss them here because these are straightforward. They are there in most textbooks that you guys are using now. Properties of, you need to know the properties of a parallelogram. Very, very important. Properties, guys, I'm referring to things like all sides are equal, the diagonals, they bisect each other, two sides are equal to each other, the other side is perpendicular to the other, things like that. You need to know how to prove a parallelogram. Yeah, these things, they do come, ne? And then you need to know the properties of a rectangle. You must know the properties of a rectangle. C, you also need to know the properties of a square. Right, please make sure that you understand them. And then D, you must know a kite. I have seen this in the past exams. The examiners, they like to bring a kite a lot. So please know that a kite has got two triangles. There's a midpoint there. It has got how many sides, you know, things like that. Please make sure that you revise those things. You also have a rhombus, another form of a square, right? Okay, you have a rhombus as well. Please make sure that you understand that. Okay, now let's have a look at our last concept. They like asking these equations of a straight line a lot. Okay, I'm gonna move to the next page here. Right. All right, number 6, very critical things to know. You must know what is an altitude. Altitude. altitude, I'm just going to draw it here for the sake of understanding. Let's say you've got a triangle like that is given here, right? Then you've got a line there. Let's say this is A, B, and C. This is line AD, right? Therefore, it's perpendicular to that, okay? So what you need to know, they might ask you to find the equation of an altitude, okay? In this case, line AD is an altitude, and therefore, in terms of the gradient, the relationship that you need to know that this line AD, it is perpendicular to MBC. Therefore, if you know that this line, and we know that the relationship between perpendicular lines in terms of the gradient, you would say MAD, when you times them together, the product of those two lines, because they're perpendicular, they need to give you -1. Okay, hope you guys are understanding it. If you have any questions, please leave them on the comment section below or contact us on one-on-one. We should be able to assist you. Okay. All right, then we also have to know the median. They might ask you to find the equation of a median, which is a straight line. Okay, this is how I'm going to illustrate it here on the diagram. Let's go. This is a, let's say you've given this triangle here. You've got A, you've got B there, you've got a C there. The line is drawn from a vertex to any particular point, which happens to be at the midpoint. Okay, so let's say that point is here and it's D. Okay, so the median in this case on this diagram is represented by line AD. Okay, so therefore it goes to the midpoint. Therefore it means you should be able to find the coordinates of MD, which would be given by the equation of a midpoint. Okay, if you were skipping this video, you didn't, make sure that please guys you go to the back and watch the full video, so that you need to understand how to apply the midpoint formula and what are the critical things that you need to know when it comes to the midpoint. Okay, and then lastly, concept number 8, we need to know what is known as a perpendicular bisector. Perpendicular bisector. Okay, perpendicular bisector, let's say for an example we are given a triangle here, just to simplify for the sake of understanding. Okay, a line is drawn from anywhere to the vertex and is perpendicular to the other side. It's not necessarily drawn to the midpoint. This one is different from the median. Okay, so line, in this case line ED is the midpoint. Sorry, excuse me, line ED is the perpendicular bisector. Therefore, this means if you need to find the equation of ED, therefore you need to find the gradient of BC, and you know the relationship of the gradient, which is the gradient of BC, and use the perpendicular bisector to be able to find the gradient of ED. Okay, great stuff, guys. Yeah, so this is how the lesson goes as far as grade 11 analytical geometry is concerned. I am Gastin Mapala. Please make sure that you subscribe to this channel, because we're going to give you more examples to assist you to understand the concept we just discussed today. So please make sure that you subscribe and you stay tuned on this channel, because we will assist you to make sure that you get those distinctions. I am Gastin Mapala. See you on the next upload.